Hi there, and you're very welcome along to the staff room. The staff room aims to be a 30-minute program. We've yet to hit that 30 minutes exactly. We've been a bit short of it. We've been a bit longer than it. It's made by educators for educators. The idea of the staff room, like the staff room in your school, is that it's an informal chat between us all. We hope you get something out of it. We do want to hear from you. So if you have anything to add to the staff room, please let us know. Now, I joined today. Grainne now reached out to me on the CESI list, or from the CESI list. Grainne, will you introduce yourself there?
Hi, yeah, I'm Grainne Nugent and I'm a primary teacher currently in an SCT role in St. Bridget's Primary School in Kildare Town. And I also just happen to be an Etwinning ambassador.
So tell us a bit about Etwinning.
Etwinning is something that I joined about maybe 12 years ago, and for 2 years did nothing. Kind of dabbled in and out. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about it, but it's a free online learning community in Europe. And it has 800,000 members across Europe.
So Etwinning, as far as I saw, and we had a bit of a chat about this beforehand. I know the branding, so the branding is good. I know of it, but I don't know what it does, and I think there's a load more in the same boat as me. So can you expand on Etwinning and what it is?
Yeah, it offers, it's obviously free, but it's a platform offered by the EU, and it's for creating collaboration between teachers. So it's kind of like for sharing information. It's for creating projects between schools, primary and secondary projects. You get a lot of language projects in there. You might get topic-based projects, subject-based projects. In primary, you get a lot of things that would kind of cover across all the different subjects. It offers CPD from experts all across Europe. It offers once-off kind of learning events, or once-off webinars, and then learning events that you can dabble in and out of topics that you may not even realize you're interested in. So it's perfect for anybody who's a member of the CESI list, really, because there's so much expert knowledge out there that we may not be aware of in Ireland. And they offer all of this for free once you register on their platform online.
And what's the first step? I mean, why would I want to? What would trigger it in my head to go, I must get involved there? Is it, I'd like to learn something new, or do I sign up and then see what's on offer?
I would sign up and see what's on offer. So when you sign up, then you're registering, and then in order to make it a secure platform, you get verified by the office in Dublin, which is run under the auspice of librarians, which you may have heard of. Yeah, they're not for profit education organisation. So it's run under their auspice in Ireland, and they're linked in with Europe. But what you have to do then is, so when they verify your school and whatever to make sure that everybody is in the education sector, when they verify that, then you get access to kind of a multifaceted platform. So on one aspect of it, there's like your private kind of, it's called Twin Space, and it's for registering private projects. You might go in and you might look up and see what project ideas people are offering. I know with the coronavirus at the moment, there's a lot of countries interested in doing collaborative projects in September, where they will compare and contrast how different countries are dealing with it or what happened during the lockdown, and that could apply to any age group. A lot of it will obviously engage IT tools and teaching the children how to use IT tools, but it can be teacher-led, so it really doesn't matter what age. Then there's another aspect of the platform, which is like all the CPD that I was talking about. So stuff like your learning events, your webinars, your experts from across Europe, things like that. It can be primary or secondary. Most of what they offer is online, but they do offer on occasion, although it's kind of limited at the moment with the virus, opportunities for teachers to go abroad, and that would be funded by the home country. So for various different topics, one that I did years ago in Portugal was to do with maths. And some of the things that they were using at the time was Kodu. Now you're talking probably about 10 years ago. So at the time it was quite advanced of what Ireland was doing. And they were using Lego Mindstorms before it was really a thing in Ireland. They were dabbling in and showing how to use it in maths. So again, you're getting stuff that we wouldn't necessarily use in Ireland, or you're getting links to different websites we wouldn't necessarily use, tools, skill sets, things like that. So really a collaboration tool. But like I was saying, 800,000 teachers across Europe. I think it's the biggest, I'm open to correction, but I think it's the biggest online collaboration group of educators in the world.
And something you said there, I'm looking down here in my notes, you can log in, you can see private projects. What's classed as a private project?
Okay, so you won't be able to view somebody else's private project, but you can set up your own private project. So say if you want to do a project and I want to do a project, so there's like a forum, and if you want to do one on, say, science or whatever, and I want to do one on science, and we come up with a topic, and it's incredibly interesting and motivational for ourselves and our students, as only it would be. But what we'll do is we will register our project, and then Lárgás in Dublin will review it and see is the quality there for the content, and they'll give us access then to kind of like a secure server. So in essence, then we can get our students talking online, but it's completely secure. We can put up, especially with GDPR and stuff, we can put up photos, videos, whatever it is we feel that we need to make our project work. And we can do that for a month, we can do it for a year, we can decide how long we want it to be.
And is that that private project, is that something, am I overthinking it? Is it simply a private project between me, my students, you, your students, and then that's it? There's no outside influence?
It can be that simple.
Okay.
Or it can be as complicated as you want. I have one at the moment because it's actually it's linked into, have you heard of Erasmus Plus?
Yes.
Okay, so it's linked into Erasmus Plus. It's actually mentioned in the application form for Erasmus Plus at the moment. Are you intending to use Etwinning, and if so, how? So for anyone who's familiar with Erasmus Plus or not familiar, it's that's an EU program. So that supports education, training, sport, youth, things like that. And there would be quite a lot of money involved with that, and a lot of that would be mobilities and moving between countries. So I suppose Etwinning is like the online cousin of that. So you're keeping your project online, so there's no cost to the school, there's no cost to the teacher, but you're still getting to bring your learning outside of your classroom. So currently at the moment I have one with 5 other countries. So the children are learning all about different countries without ever leaving.
And how do you start the ball rolling? So if I have a project, and like that, the learning about other countries just jumped out at me, because my next question is the reflections. And I've asked this before, and I think it's very valid. When everything goes back to normal, whatever normal is, will we reflect on what's the last few months are, or will we just park it and go, well, thank God that's over with, let's move on? So this kind of a project would interest me personally and professionally, because I could go, well, let's get some educators in Ireland together and let's have a reflective process. But how do we get people outside of Ireland involved to compare notes, as it were?
Well, yeah, essentially you could do that via the platform. So you'd have to register it as a project, get your approval from Lárgás, who will look at the quality of what you're intending to do. Because when you fill out the little form for the project, there is still a section that's asking you what your intentions are and how you're going to achieve that. And then there's a forum, so you can post your idea. Or if you're a complete beginner and you want to kind of dip your toes in, I would suggest going and looking what somebody else's idea is, especially somebody who says, and they often do, the European educators will say, I have a lot of experience in this, do you want to join? Because you have to remember with Brexit as well, we are the only country where English is the first language now in Europe. So we're of in high demand as a project partner, because a lot of the European students, I suppose one of their big aims for the teachers there will be that they want their students, while becoming more proficient in IT tools, but also for language reasons as well. They want to kind of improve their language skills. So if you looked at a beginner project, join that and maybe just do a 1 month thing where you would say, like, here's my school, what's your school like? Okay, now here's my town, what's your town like? And now here's my country, what's your country like? So it's a very kind of simple 3-step thing. It could be done between two schools, or you could do it between 5 or 6 schools. But then you're building up your bank of educators that you know, and you're networking with them. You know, like anything, you know then if they're good to work with or not. So if you want to expand then from a professional point of view, if you want to expand and do something about comparing notes of how we all got on, you've kind of got a bank. You're starting off your bank of European network, I suppose, that people you might contact again.
The contact again is what's jumping out at me there. So if I run one project and it goes well, and I say, do you know what, actually that was good, could I use the same network to have another project? Is this an ongoing thing? Is it open-ended?
This can go on. No, it comes under the thing of lifelong learning. So it can go on and on and on, as many topics, as many projects. You can do it as long as you're in education. You can continue to do it, and you can save your contact details of all your contacts as you go along. So again, you're building up a real bank there of knowledge and of people, and you might say, well, you know, that person had a lot of interest in, again, back to science, did a lot of interest in science, or they were particularly good at managing that project. I think I'll get them on board for this. So again, like, apart from the formal CPD of your learning events and your webinars and stuff, you've got that real informal networking as well. And through Lergos as well, when we get back up and running, they often do contact seminars, which is a whole seminar somewhere. Sometimes it's in Ireland, sometimes it's abroad, where the whole purpose is to meet people, to swap, to share ideas, to share skill sets, and to hopefully contact again with a view to doing something using the platform.
Talk to me about the CPD side of it. So I have no project to offer per se. Well, not yet. Do you know how you go into these things going, and I've seen it a million times.
Yeah,
you go in and you go, I'd have nothing to offer here, but I wouldn't mind the CPD.
Yeah, or you might be in a position where, like myself, you're in an SCT role and you mightn't feel that that's the role to do a project with another class in another country at the moment. Yeah, the CPD, once you register, all the CPD is free. So there's like little buttons and you just click and you register, and they'll give you the reminder of when it's on, and the date and the time comes up, and you have your webinar there, and most of it's run through Adobe Connect.
And is CPD the same as learning events? Or what's the difference between a learning event and CPD?
Well, what I mean by CPD, I suppose, would be, like, as teachers mean by CPD, anything that can evolve you as a teacher. So their learning events, there was some of them there, I'm trying to think what it was, to do with, let me think. There was one I was looking at there a minute ago, and it was like IT tools in a time of coronavirus. Or there might be one of collaboration, depending on, like, I suppose, what your skill set is. And I know at the moment with the virus and the situation that we had like 3 hours to prepare for it, that a lot of people probably aren't as familiar, or they've had to speed up very, very quickly with collaboration tools, or just even, like, I suppose, how Zoom has nearly become a verb.
Yeah, I hate that, by the way. But,
yeah, that people have had to, like, really, really speed up quickly. So the learning event will be like a short little course about something, and it'll actually say on the bottom whether it's for beginner, intermediate, advanced. And there was one on modern foreign languages and collaboration and using IT tools to enhance it and things like that. So it really depends whether you're secondary or whether you're primary and what your specific interest is. I know they often use AR. There's often courses on AR and how to use them in a classroom. Some of it we'll know from Ireland and from the various things CESI does, some of it we might not know.
Where does making and maker ed and project-based learning fall into that, or is that a thing?
Well, the project-based learning will definitely fall into it, because their whole idea is that, yes, the teacher is facilitating, but it's the student that's doing. So I know it really does depend on your class, but I know on a primary level, what we've done often is we, for part of my current project, our whole topic was culture for children beyond the textbooks. We're really trying to get all that beyond, what they normally do. So we were getting them to compare legends of other countries, of the other 5 partners, and then we were using Book Creator to create books out of that. But the children were doing what they normally do in the classroom, which is sequencing, drawing their pictures, putting their story in order, recalling the legend or whatever. And then the teacher then was creating the books initially, and then depending on the student's interest and age, getting the children to create some of the books as well. So, increasing their skill set in that sort of a way. But at the same time, the teacher is kind of leading that end of it. Again, like I said, depending on the age of the pupils, but, getting them to dip their toes in. But from a project point of view, I would say, like, you don't ever do anything that you're not going to be doing already in your classroom, because we've enough work on. So kind of try and make it something that you're doing already, and just put a twist on it,
that you have enough on that phrase.
Mm.
It does haunt me in my day-to-day working with schools, and I'm an IT person. I'm an IT guy. I spend most of my day turning stuff off and back on again. So when I go to a school and I approach them about a new platform, and I said, look, it's whether it be Google Suite or Office 365 or whatever. Um, the one thing I keep hearing back is, I have enough to be doing. Don't be talking
Yeah.
to me about that.
Yeah.
What's the party line for that? Because if I approach, like, it's all well and good me and you talking about this, and this will go out in the CESI staff room, and that's nice. This is a conversation between two people in the CESI staff room. But to the teachers that say, I have enough on without having to deal with this as well, which is a huge problem for teachers.
Yeah, well, I suppose sometimes when I'm talking to people about this, especially teachers who are teaching quite a while, I mean, if you're teaching 5, 6 years plus, a lot of teachers will say, "I've enough on," and they expect that it's the NQTs that will have the get up and go to get involved in all these projects across the school, or anything that comes into the staff room or gets left on the table or whatever. But I would say actually it's for the teachers who are teaching 5, 6, 7, 8 years plus, because if you're teaching the same class level, if you're teaching the same subject, you need your get up and go. You need your motivation. And your motivation comes with teaching your subject that you know, probably know inside out at that stage, teaching it in a different way. And this gives you an opportunity to teach it in a different way, to bring your learning outside of your classroom, to connect with teachers across the world, or across Europe rather, who can engage you and motivate you. Like it definitely is about motivating the students. But like from a teacher's point of view, if we do have a lot on our plate, you want to motivate yourself as well. And if you can just use this as a platform or as a way of just tweaking what you're already doing, then that to me is a win-win.
And there's two questions jumping out at me. One, for those who are not friends of IT, so
Yeah.
there's a I don't do the again one of the things, and I'm not belittling what people are saying, but this is what they're saying to me. I'm not good at the
Mm-hmm.
IT. I'm not good at
Yeah.
the technology. This is not for me.
Well, I'm an Etwinning ambassador, so we offer call-outs to schools for free. We offer co-park hours if anyone wants us. We offer anything like that. Lergos will also do kind of like a, I was going to say, they'll Zoom you. They will not Zoom you, but they will have a chat with you online and they'll talk you through it. So they can ring you, they can have a chat with you online, they can do a Google Hangout, they can do whatever and talk you through the process of setting up a project if that's what you want to do. If you, for want of a better word, piggyback on a project that's been set up already, who's looking for somebody, I mean, it literally could be something as simple as we're all going to send Easter cards to each other at Easter time. We are going to put together a little presentation about Easter traditions in Ireland, which a lot of, I suppose, maybe second, third class would probably be doing anyway. We're going to put it together in a little presentation. We're going to make our cards. So we normally make them for Mammy, and she has probably about 500 at this stage. So this time we're going to make them for a school in Italy. We're going to post them over to them in good time, take a photo, and our photo is what goes up on the platform. And if you can't put the photo on the platform, like I said, we can literally call out and show you, or failing that, a lot of the time the children are able to do that part for you.
Okay. And that's the tie-in to my next question, which is, can this be student-led with the teacher as a facilitator as opposed to teacher project-led?
Well, no, absolutely. It can be student-led, and definitely at the senior end of primary and going into secondary, I would prefer for it to be student-led. Just give them the tasks. The teachers will initially do, like, I suppose, the plan, the timeline of, say, task 1 to 5 that the teachers as collaborators want to achieve. And then the students should, I suppose, be fulfilling those, and then they can get the students to upload those and everything. You can give students administration rights. You can give them limited or full administration rights. You can give them access. There's a forum there. So if you had a student and you're engaged in modern foreign languages, you can get your students communicating in the language that you want them to communicate in, and the other students in the other country answering them back in English. So yeah, it very much can be student-led, but I suppose from a primary point of view, I'm always thinking of if somebody has the little ones, can they do this with small children? And yeah, of course you can. There's plenty of support there, but you do have to ask, like anything, just ask.
Give us a run through of how people can get involved. You mentioned something about Crow Park hours.
So if you go to leargas.ie, and here we have programs. So if you go into programs, and then you are going down here, you can see Etwinnings here on the first page. So you can click that. And then on the left-hand side, then you've got all the information that I've kind of spoken about. And then down here you have ambassadors. So you can click into ambassadors and you can see a map. Oh, there we go. You can see a map of the current ambassadors that are in the country, and you can click one and you can get the details. So if you click here, I should pop up if I am there. No, so there's my name there. So it just pops up and you'll get the information. And there's a list down here of all the ambassadors here at the moment, if you can see them.
Yeah.
So anybody and if there's nobody near you, there's no problem, because Leargas has dedicated people that they'll drive down free of charge to your school. So don't worry if there's no ambassador there, they can come down. And it doesn't have to be for Crow Park thing, and it doesn't have to be for 20 teachers. It can be just for yourself if you have an interest in it. I'll also show you the Etwinning page. So etwinning.net is the main page. So you can see I've already logged in, but when you log in, you get this page here. And at the top, you've got your benefits, the whole lot there. Okay, but when you're actually a member, if you click on your name, Etwinning Live, so this is the real place that you want to be in, because this is the place then that gives you access to there's different professional groups in there based on different topics, things like that. Your partner forums are where you can find somebody to do a project with. So again, you can post up your idea or you can have a look at their idea. More professional development. So if I click in here, so that's what I was saying about learning events, online seminars. So some of the upcoming events, evaluation strategies, and this is the one I was talking about earlier, teaching MFL with apps. So again, you just click in and you can register. So there's some nice things, like even this, coping with e-safety and fake news, there's some nice things. And you'd often see on this page serious experts from across Europe being, I suppose, for want of a better word, advertised. And they're providing all this for free to the member. And if I go in here to projects, I can show you some of my projects and show you what that looks like. So this is the current project that I'm working on. Now, obviously, this is all stalled at the moment because of our lovely coronavirus, but this is the first page that the public can see. And then we have our private section, which is our twin spaces, our private section, because we need the children to have an area and we need photos and stuff. So I can't scroll too much through that.
Okay.
But you can see that you have all your areas there. So your materials, you can store everything here. So again, from an Erasmus Plus point of view, I presume it makes a lot of sense to people, but it does to me, that you can store everything in here because you are asked for quite detailed reports at different stages for your Erasmus Plus projects, which can last up to 2 years. So you need some place that you don't have them all over the place, you need some sort of a structure on it that everybody can access, which I suppose has a bit of flair as well,
So when we come back, we're learning all these new skills of distance learning. Is this something, we said that it can be student-led. Can it be student-led? Can the student do stuff from home, or does it have to be done within the
platform
school environment?
Well, if you give the student administration rights, you can give them like login details and stuff. So again, it depends whether you're upper primary, secondary, whatever. But ideally, I suppose, because of GDPR or whatever, if you're giving a student administration rights, you'd be picking those students very carefully.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose it makes sense that you do your research offsite and then do your input in class or in school.
Some people link it into stuff like their active flag, so they might have a well-being project, and then they use the platform as, I suppose, almost like their reporting tool. So they're keeping track of everything, their videos, their documents, whatever. And then you can choose then to open up that project and share it with your school community. So again, that's your dissemination, and that will come in under your Erasmus Plus as well if you have to disseminate for your project in Erasmus Plus, because you're talking quite a lot of money with Erasmus Plus, you have to be seen to disseminate. And again, it's all secure, which is very, very important and easy to share.
If I develop a project, or I create a project and I go, this is a really good project, I can then choose to open it up to outsiders.
So first of all,
it's a portfolio of my work effectively, and I can choose to open it or not open it.
Yeah. So first of all, with your idea, you've got to have two partners. So you can have a partner in Ireland. So you might pick the other end of the country for argument's sake, whatever, if you're a school, or you can have partners in other countries. So what you would do is go to the forum, I suppose, put out the feelers, see who's interested, what expertise they have. And you will, like I said, because of having English as our first language, you will find a huge amount of interest. So pick who you think speaks to you, maybe click into their profile, see what sort of school they are, what sort of, what's their background in it. And then the two of you move forward as two partners to establish the project. And when you've the project established, then you'll get your verification of it or whatever. And then you get access then to the secure part of the platform, because up until then, you'll just have access, I suppose, almost like to the opening couple of pages. And then you'll get access to a secure platform, and you get a secure platform for each project. So you get a separate one for each project, but they're all within the same main web address. You'll have the same login for everything.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out how to put it. So I can go to this without having any plan at all. I just register, I look through, poke around, and go, now that I'm registered and I'm signed up, now I can put together some sort of a plan. But I don't have to go into this with a plan.
No. I did that for 2 years. I was a member, but I had done nothing for 2 years. So I was really just a lurker, looking and kind of feeling my way around it. And then gradually the numbers of educators involved, you can see it on the homepage, started to increase. I think when I started, it was like 200,000. Now there's almost 800,000 educators. So you really have a huge bank of people there, all experts in different areas, and it's kind of getting into that. And people, you will see your learning events and your webinars, and you see a huge bank of knowledge there of professional development being offered up completely for free.
Grainne Nugent, thank you very much for joining us in the staff room today.
No problem, thank you.
And that's all we have time for today. Don't forget, if there's any information from today's podcast you want, let us know. You can contact us on the CESI website. You can go www.cesi.ie. You can go to the mailing list on the CESI mailing list. You can register. You can join the discussion there. If you have any questions about today's podcast, or you could go to Twitter, and you can get us on Twitter at CESI Tweets. Remember, we want to hear from you. So what's working for you? What's not working for you? We would love to hear from you.